Today, I'm going to start with a very, very simple technique, which I'll share with all of you. This technique has been taught to us by Sunil sir. It's a very, very simple technique, and it's a technique. This is, of course, a technique which has multi layers to it, but this is also a technique which you can, immediately predict if someone comes to you, whether you cast a prashna or you use the natal chart. It is a technique that you can use very easily to predict about the person. So this technique is called the Chandra Navamsha method, the imprints of past life and the crux of life of that person. All right, what his life revolves around. So our observation states, the dictum states that wherever moon sits in the Navamsha chart, the native's mind will always be there and it will form the crux of the native's life, because it will always hold an imprint from the previous life. All right. Moon is the reason why we are born. If you read the Karma Vipak Samhita, which is in a dialogue form between Lord Shiva and Ma Parvati, you will come to know that moon and the nakshatra we are born in is the reason why we have taken birth. And not only will it hold the imprint of a previous life, it will also, our mind will always be there, our focus will always be there. Now, this is a very interesting technique, and I'll also just, share a little more to it. So the technique says that in step one is you see where moon sits in the D1 chart. You see the sign moon is in, the house moon is in, and what planets are aspecting it or are conjunct with it. What we call PAC, placement, aspect, association, conjunction, and the house. All right. Step two is to see where moon sits in the D9 chart, which is the Navamsha chart. And again, you see the sign it is in, the Navamsha chart, the house it is in, the conjunction, the aspects, and if any yogas it is forming. All right. These will tell you about the crux of life of the native. These will tell you where the natives, one of the focus for the native will be there, and the native will be very involved in this sphere of life. All right. Okay, so our first example is Shri Amitabh Bachchan. Now, on the left-hand side is the D1 chart, and on the right-hand side is the Navamsha chart. If you can see over here, this says Navamsha, and this is the Rashi chart. So let's just go with the Rashi chart. In the D1 chart, moon is in the 9th house of father or guru. So, today we were doing significations, if you remember, and I told you 9th house is the house of Bhagya, it is the house of luck, and it is the house of father, of guru. So, in Amitabh Bachchan's chart, in his natal chart, in his Rashi chart, moon is in the 9th house. Now, some of you may be a little surprised seeing this chart because it is not the one which is available on AstroSage or the one which is widely available online. Now, this is a chart which has been corrected by Sri K.N. Rao. So, this is his actual birth date. And if you want to note down the birth details so that you can create this chart later, you can do so. Okay. Then moon is now in the sign of Libra. So if you see the sign over here is 7, that is in the sign of Libra with its lord Venus, which is sitting in the 8th house. Now he has a stellium over here. The word when 3 or more planets are sitting together is called stellium. Stellium. It's called a stellium. So the planets are in a stellium over here. Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars are sitting in the 8th house, making his 8th house a heavy house. All right. Mr. Bachchan. Now, where is his thought process. Now, Mr. Bachchan has always treated his father, which a lot of you would know, which is why this is the first example over here. Especially the Indians would know that he has always been in, let's say, in awe of his father, Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan, who was a very big poet in his own right. He was a writer, he was a poet, and a very famous one at that. And Mr. Amitabh Bachchan has given his voice to a lot of his poems. For example, Madhushala. He's given his voice to a lot of his father's poems, and he still keeps them, in the minds of people by repeating them regularly. So he has always treated his father like his guru. He has always shown that he has utmost respect for his father. So this is one thing where his mind is in his father. Another thing to note over here is that Venus has now gone to the eighth house. So again, eighth house is the house of your in-laws, and it shows the same thing, that he does hold his in-laws in high esteem. Okay, now eighth house is not only in-laws. Eighth house is also research work. It is sadhana. It is insurance. And do you know that Amitabh Bachchan, initially when he started working, he had worked in an insurance company. Next, we come to the Navamsha chart, which is where our major technique lies. Now, in the Navamsha chart, Moon is in the 10th house of career, of recognition, of name, of fame. And its Lord Saturn has gone to the 3rd house, where it is sitting with Rahu in the sign of Gemini. So now, 3rd house, 2nd house is your speech, but 3rd house is what you speak, the words that you are speaking. While the way you speak is the 2nd house, what you are speaking is actually your 3rd house. So if you see, Rahu is expansive, Rahu is illusions. And Saturn being with it, one Saturn being with it, has given him that, deep baritone of voice, which has made him extremely famous. And it's the way he speaks, his style of talking, which has got him a lot of recognition in his career. And his career, which along with his voice, forms the crux of his life. So what is Mr. Bachchan known for? Mr. Bachchan is known for his acting, he is known for his voice, and he's known, of course, apart from his very famous family, he's known for his father. In our next chart, we take the chart of Mahatma Gandhi. So again, in the D1 chart, Moon is sitting with Rahu over here in the 10th house of, again, career, recognition, name, fame. And 10th house is also the public life, right? So because like I had, taught the ultra beginners in the morning today, 4th house is your private life, what you do inside the 4 walls of your house. And the 10th house is the public life, how you show yourself to the outside world and how they perceive you. So 4th house is your public life. Now, Moon is over here, Swagrahi, in the sign of Cancer, which means that it is, the Lord of Cancer is Moon. So it is sitting Swagrahi in the 10th house, which gives it its strength. Moon is sitting with Rahu, which is foreign. So one of the significations of Rahu is foreign. Apart from the fact that he started working in Africa, in South Africa, he started working over there. He also became the face of India's independence struggle against the British government with his non-violence movement. So it was also his public face, his public image, which became the leading factor in the struggle for independence with his non-violence movement. All right, now we see the Navamsha chart. In the Navamsha chart, Moon is sitting in the 5th house. 5th house of meritorious deeds or of your purva punya, the good karma that you bring with you from a previous birth. But these are also the good deeds that you do presently. All right. So the fifth house becomes the house of all your good deeds from a previous birth and from this birth. The Lord of it is in the sign of Pisces. So the Lord of it, Jupiter, is sitting in the second house. It's a retrograde Jupiter is sitting in the second house of food, speech, family, etc., etc. Now, Mahatma Gandhi used his non-violent means, which were fast unto death. So, if you remember, he used to go on the fast, and they were the means of bending the British government under his pressure. And he used to use his speeches to ignite passion in the Indian people for freedom struggle. So Mahatma Gandhi's speeches, whether in India or even in the British Parliament, are very famous for that reason, as are his, as are his as are his fast unto death. So all of this formed the crux of his life, his non-violent movement, then his fight with the foreign government, and the fasts that he used to take. Not only did he take fasts from food, he used to also abstain from speaking. So all of these together built up our independence struggle. And he was the public face of our independence struggle, which is why he has also been called the father of the nation. Our third example is Arnold Schwarzenegger, the very famous Hollywood actor. Again, in his D1 chart, Moon is sitting in the seventh house of spouse, of business, Pat Prapti. And Pat Prapti, it's a Hindi word. So Pat Prapti actually means attainment of position, of how you would attain a position. See, when you get married from a single person, you are now someone's husband, someone's wife. Or when you join a business partnership, you are now known as someone's business partner. So what has happened in that case, that you have attained a position either as someone's husband, as someone's wife, or you have attained the position of being a business partner, which is why the seventh house is also the house of pad prapti, or attainment of position. Moon over here is in the sign of Sagittarius. Dispositor of Moon is Jupiter, which is sitting in the fifth house of Purva Punya hobbies, which include films. So Arnold gained worldwide fame as a Hollywood action star. So all the hobbies, whether it is acting or singing or sports, they all come under the fifth house. So he gained fame as a famous Hollywood actor. In the Navamsha chart, Moon is sitting in the third house in the sign of Cancer. Again, it is Swagrahi along with Venus over here. It is sitting over here with Venus. So now the third house is the house of strength. It is the house of communication. It is the house of courage. But remember, it is the house of your physical strength. Moon is placed with Venus over here, which is also the Lagna Lord. So Lagna is all about your physique. It's about your personality. And Arnold, apart from being known as an actor, he actually started from being a bodybuilder. So he is very well known. If you see, for his physique, he's known very well for his strength, and he is known, very very well for even for the way he talks. Please be on mute, everybody. Please be on mute. Sixth house represents, okay, now Venus is also the lord of the sixth house over here, where Sun is situated. Sixth house represents servant and Sehpatni, and he became, infamous or famous, whatever you want to say it, for having an affair with his children's nanny or a house help in his house, and he also fathered a child with her. So this became a scandal which actually led to his divorce with his wife, Maria Shiva. Okay. So again, forming the crux of his life, what happened with him. Our next chart is of Bill Clinton. In the D1 chart, Moon is in the 8th house of sex, of transformation. And we all know what Bill Clinton is mostly associated with Monica Lewinsky and his very famous affair. But actually, that was not the only affair that he had when he became, either as a president or as the governor, which he was prior to becoming the president. All right. Now, Moon is in the sign of Aries, and its Lord Mars is sitting with Venus in the Lagna. So that is Lagna is recognition, it is fame, it's your name, how well you are known, how widely your name is going to spread. He gained, not only did he gain fame as the president of USA, but he also gained infamy for his sexapade or escapades that he had while in power. Like I said, both as a governor and also as the president. We know about Monica Lewinsky, but if you search on Google, you will find that he had a number of affairs before that. And a lot of women came out against him in the Me Too movement, saying that he had abused the power by forcing them into a relationship with him. In the Navamsha chart now, Moon is in the 9th house of past life. Dispositor of Moon, Jupiter, is placed in the 7th house of spouse or Pad Prapti. Rahu aspects Moon from the 5th house over here. If you see by the 5th aspect, Rahu is aspecting Moon. Clinton was the first baby boomer president. His innovative use of soundbite, ready dialogue, personal charisma, public perception oriented campaigning were a major factor in his high public approval ratings. Apart from the fact that I think he was also the first president who started the website for the US president for the White House. So he was also the first president to bring the United States president online. Okay, our next chart is Indira Gandhi. In Indira Gandhi's chart now, in the Rashi chart, Moon is in the 7th house, again in the sign of Capricorn. Not only is this a sign of Pad Prapti, but this is also a sign of spouse. So everybody does know that she got married to Firoz Gandhi, who was a Parsi, and she had gone against her father's wishes to marry him. Shri Jawaharlal Nehru, she went against his wishes to marry Firoz Gandhi, who was a Parsi. It's also in the 7th house is also Pad Prapti in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is public recognition. Dispositor of Moon is Saturn, which is placed in Lagna. Again, your name and fame or infamy, as the case may be. Moon and Saturn in her chart are in Rashi Parivartan, which means that Moon is in the sign of a Saturn Rashi, which is Capricorn, and Saturn is in the sign of Moon's Rashi, which is Cancer. This is called Rashi Parivartan. Now, Saturn, if you all know, represents iron. So Harry Kissinger described her as the Iron Lady, a nickname that became associated with her tough personality. And if you see, not only her personality, this acronym, nickname, whatever you want to call it, stuck with her, that she had been called the Iron Lady. Okay, so if you see, being in the Rashi Parivartan with the 7th house and the Lagna giving her this name. Then, sorry. Oh my God. Sorry, guys, one sec. I'll just reshare. Yeah. Then in the Navamsha chart, moon is in the 12th house, the 12th house of losses, of expenses, the 12th house of hospitalization, the 12th house of exit. And it's in the sign again of Aquarius, which is another Saturn sign. Saturn, the lord of the 12th house, is sitting in the 11th house with Ketu, and this is the house of gains of wish fulfillment. Rahu aspects Saturn from the fifth house. So while Rahu will not aspect Ketu, we don't use the Rahu Ketu aspect, but Rahu is aspecting Saturn, and we will take that. So, apart from being known as the Iron Lady, she was also known as the only female Prime Minister of India who was also very strong. That is one thing. She was also known for her enemies. She was also very well known for her enemies, who were also her secret enemies. And if you see her exit from this life, if you all remember, after Operation Blue Star, her exit from life happened because her guards got changed with, with some Sikh who were actually who had come to kill her, and they had just changed with her guards, and that is how she died. They were her secret enemies. So if you see, that is also another very important aspect in the Navamsha chart, that her exit happened because of her secret enemies. She thought they were her guards, they were her bodyguards. She didn't know that they were there to kill her on that very fateful day. So that is, that is my presentation for today. So I want all of you to quickly look up the moon, where it sits in your Rashi chart and in your Navamsha chart, and you'll realize how it tells you what your life is all about. Now, this is only in the natal charts that I have taken this, but if someone comes to you for a reading, and if you see their, the Prashna chart, from there also you can come to know what that person has come to you for. That will also again give you the crux of life for that person, what his life is all about. All right.
Excuse me, madam. I joined late, so can you
Hmm.
show me the first slide of technique?
Yes. Anilji, you don't have this technique? No, sorry, Vikasji. You don't have this technique? I don't know what is wrong with my. One sec, I'll have to stop sharing and share again. For whatever reason. God. Give me a minute, guys. Let me just, I don't know what is wrong with this. Okay, let me try this. Yeah, okay, I can share from here. Yeah. So the technique is, you see where moon sits in the D1 chart. You see the sign it is in, the house it is in, and if any planets are conjunct it, and what all planets are aspecting it. And then in the D9 chart, you do the same thing. You see where moon is placed, the sign it is in, the house it is in, and what planets are aspecting it if they are conjunct it. And together, this will tell you about about yourself, about the natives, crux of life, around what does their life revolve. Okay. A very, very easy technique is what I have chosen to start with. The rest of the techniques will not be this easy that we share with you. But just because it is the first, this is the first presentation, and also because we have the India, I think it's India-Pakistan match that we have today. So I didn't want to take something which is very difficult. Yes, Somnath.
Ruchi ma'am, first of all, thank you for sharing this wonderful technique. Ma'am, I have two questions. One is
Yeah.
that, so in every example that you were showing us,
Yeah.
we are looking at the dispositor quite a lot to
Yeah.
understand what is happening in that
Because,
person's
yes,
life.
because that will have a important role to play also where it goes and sits. That will also have an important,
Hmm.
aspect to the native's life where the
And
dispositor
ma'am,
of moon goes and sits. Yeah.
okay. And ma'am, in Indira Gandhi's chart, how did you know that when you said no, that she got killed through hidden
So 12th
enemies?
house, because moon is sitting in the 12th house, and 12th house
Okay.
is the house of secret enemies. Don't you
Okay.
remember I told you in the morning when I was showing you opposing houses? Sixth house are
Yeah.
direct enemies, the ones which are in the open,
Okay.
and 12th house are secret hidden enemies. Enemies that you don't know are your enemies. All right. So she didn't know they were not her bodyguards. She just assumed they were her bodyguards. But actually they were her enemies who had come to kill her. And her exit, which is what we say the 12th houses, her exit happened that way that they shot her dead.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so if we do not have any more questions, let's proceed to our next presenter, that is Daniela.
Hello. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Daniela, give me a minute. I'll just make you the co-host.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So, Daniela, you can proceed with your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. All right. So, hello, everybody. Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well, especially after such a brilliant presentation by Ruchi ji. Very, very valuable technique. Sorry, it's very.
Sorry. I have a very bad cough. I didn't realize I had not.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about property, very important thing in our life. So let me begin my presentation. Okay. So can you all see the screen? I hope, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So this is about Aquarius and it indicating property issues. Just like Sunil sir has taught, I'm sure he also shared this some time ago last year on the Facebook group, research group. So this is Aquarius showing property issues, whatever it sits in your chart. So let me share the technique first. All right. So Aquarius, wherever it sits in the chart, the relative signified by that house will have property issues, provided Saturn, Rahu, and Mars are afflicted. So you see, it is quite difficult to have Saturn, Rahu, and Mars unafflicted in the chart. It's virtually impossible. So what you could derive from this is that whenever you have property, you're definitely having problems. So Aquarius shows, especially if you're an Aquarius Lagna. So Aquarius shows very nice karma about property. And I hope your Saturn, Rahu, and Mars are not afflicted.
I'm just
And
very sorry to interrupt today. I was having a very, very long conversation with Sir, and we were just discussing evil eye, and he said, especially where your Saturn sits, if it's sitting in the second house, you will be prone to the evil eye. And he says, always remember, Aquarius is the most sharpest lagna. The classics have called it the most sharpest lagna, which means it is the lagna which is highly afflicted So
Yeah.
sadly, I am an Aquarius Lagna. So any Aquarius Lagna over here, just sadly remember this one thing, that we are very prone to problems in life.
Yeah, that's why I was smiling, because I was thinking about your Lagna. So
I know that's why you
having
were
that
laughing.
in
That's why
mind.
I was also laughing over here. And just a coincidence that we had a very long conversation, sir and I, over this today.
Yeah. So yeah, why? Why? Because Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Rahu, and that's even a worse combination than Mars and Ketu, which is of Scorpio. So Aquarius is having a lot of fun wherever it sits in your chart, whether it's property or not. But in this case today, we're focusing on property matters. So the technique is very simple. You just have to see where your Aquarius sits in the chart. Of course, if you're very young, you might not have encountered such problems, or maybe just, let's say, have very good karma, and somebody else from the family is, having these issues in their life. So Aquarius, wherever it sits, provided Saturn, Mars, and Rahu are afflicted, they will show you some struggles you might have at some point in life, not always, depending on the chart, depending on the transits and on the dashas. But at some point, it could indicate you will come across a big problem. So let me show you some examples. Maybe they will help you understand. Just point here the oops the okay, right, thanks very much. The thing is that the examples are quite loaded with explanations on account of that. I wanted to show how Saturn, Rahu, and Mars are functioning in that chart, so just don't become scared. Okay, the first example of Aquarius in the seventh house. All right. So in this chart, Aquarius is very nicely placed in the seventh house, which means a lot of things. But let's stick it to property. And his, Saturn is in the Aquarius, Mars and Moon is there also. And Saturn is the sixth lord. So if you have a combination like that where Aquarius benefits from a sixth lord being there, that's a very good starting point for you. And Badakesh Mars is also there. And they're joined by Moon. You'd said that would be a good news, but no, Moon is the 12th lord, and it is carrying the energy of Mandian Gulika from the 12th house. So actually you have a combination here between the 6th Lord Saturn, 12th Lord Moon, and Badakesh Mars, all in Aquarius, all looking at Lagna. So you could say that the native himself has such issues. So Moon is dispositor of Mandengulika, just like I pointed out, bringing that energy of poison to Aquarius. Then Mars is in Aquarius. Just Mars in Aquarius. Also, Sunil Sir has posted on Facebook research group that having Mars in Aquarius is enough to guarantee trouble in property. Why? Because Mars is Karaka of property, and Aquarius, just like Ruchi ji said, is a blessed sign, abounding and all sorts of troubles. But we all have Aquarius somewhere in the chart, and it's not just a single zone in our life that's afflicted. You can also see it from the moon or from the Ruda Lagna. You can also play around with it in the divisional charts, especially the D4 if you're interested in seeing anything to do with Aquarius and property. So Mars alone is a problem here. All right. Of course, I'm not showing the D9 here, but Saturn, although you might find it very strong and beautiful, it is not. It is debilitated in D9. So yeah, and it also has a problem there being combust. So this Saturn brings a lot of issues in his life. Then we take Rahu. Rahu is in, because we have to analyze Mars, Rahu, and Saturn to indicate that Aquarius is afflicted somehow. So Rahu in his chart is in the 10th house in Taurus with the retrograde Jupiter, who's the 8th lord. You see, a retrograde 8th lord in the 10th house, that leads to some scandals. But let's see what happened in his case. So this person's wife, 7th house is the wife, the spouse, has property issues. Her father tried to remove her from official documents, connected to her inheritance from her passed away mother. So the father denied in front of the notary, so of an official person, that he even had a daughter at all. So like that, he just wanted to deny this man's wife the inheritance she was supposed to receive. Of course, the page is not big enough for me to explain everything going on in this chart. The native himself has property issues and, a lot of squabbling about it with his father. And because of that, they're not on speaking terms today. So, you see Aquarius in 7th house, but also just think that it also aspects the Lagna. So the problem also goes to the native himself. Right. Okay. Let's go to the second example where Aquarius is in the 2nd house. All right. So here Saturn and Rahu are in the 3rd house in Pisces, and their dispositor is in the 9th house, retrograde, and with Ketu. So immediately you can say that Aquarius is having problems, and not just Aquarius, but anyway, let's stick to that. Mars Karaka of property is the 11th lord, Scorpio, denoting father's sibling. So this native's father had a sibling. And Mars is in Libra. So another indicator that there's some property trouble because, Mars in air signs are also indicative of property troubles, as far as I remember, also from Sunil sir. Dispositor of Mars, Venus, goes to join the gang of Saturn and Rahu. Of course, Venus, you'd say it's exalted, but in such a good company of thugs, Venus cannot perform beautifully, so leave all hope behind. Native's father inherited the house, but he did not want to share the inheritance with anyone. Not even his children, respectively the native. So he had sold the house for lots of money, beautiful money, but didn't give anybody a dime and spent it all on a lavish vacation at the seaside many, many years ago. So this is one piece of the fun this person had about inheritance. She didn't get any. Then the second part is that her uncle, which is father's brother, the 11th house I was indicating Mars is a lord of. He got his hands on their mother's property. That means paternal grandmother of this native, which is the 12th house. You see, this is the father, and 4th from the father is the 12th house of paternal grandmother. So the uncle also got his hands on the property from his mother, which was quite significant. And he decided also not to give anything to anybody. Everybody wanted a piece of that. It was a lot of property. Yeah. So a lot of hiding and lying in this case. You see, 2nd house is the house of family. And Rahu and Saturn together in the 3rd house, not a very good indicator of goodwill in the family. The third example would be Aquarius in the 5th house. Ketu is there in Aquarius. A 5th house where you might always think it's love, education, and children, but it's also the 2nd house from the 4th, which denotes something that you gain out of the 4th house. That means gains of property. yeah, that means she's headless. Ketu means you're headless and you make mistakes about that. Then you go to Saturn. Saturn is over here in Leo in the 11th house. Okay, it is in enemy sign. It is with the enemy sun, and it is joined also by 6th Lord Jupiter. You see, Lord of 6th house Pisces, Jupiter is also coming to Leo. 6th Lord also denotes loans, and because it's Jupiter's means something big you take, a big loan. And with Sun, in Leo, everything is, very extravagant, a big mistake. And Mercury is also there. Yeah, an important thing to note, maybe Sunil sir has not insisted upon it until now because many of us are beginners, but a solar eclipse is important to see if and when it occurred during, after, or before your birth. So take note of that if you can. Both solar and lunar, they are very, very important dates and degrees. But in her case, a solar eclipse would follow only 2 days after her birth. So that's significant. And plus, to make things worse, is that all these Leo planets over here are her Badaka house. So you can imagine her struggles, especially that you want a Leo to behave nicely in your chart if you want to have some fun in life. But not in her case. Mars is also debilitated in the 10th house, aspect in the 4th house, of property. And its dispositor moon is in Gemini 9th house, which is the house of father. Of course, it is aspected by Ketu, showing more, thoughtlessness, bad mistakes related to home. Moon is the home. So this native had a huge, huge, huge desire to own a home. She took a very big loan and bought a large apartment somewhere in the capital city of our country. Although she was single, she wasn't even involved in a relationship at the time. And she said she did that because she wanted to prove to her father, ninth house, she was capable to do that and more. But you know how karma plays tricks on us, and then soon after she remained unemployed and was unable to pay her loans. And the bank, seized her house and sold it for 1/10 of the price she acquired it with. So she remained with no money, no house, and huge amount of debts towards the bank too, because that didn't cover whatever she was owing. And of course, her name got trashed, and her self-respect was, shattered. And yeah, that was a very, very bad time for her. So you can see how a very you wouldn't actually consider that if you would look at the property analysis of this chart. But in this case, seeing Aquarius really helps in the analysis. Of course, many of her planets are going to Leo anyway, so that's the 8th from the 4th house, so you could see trouble there. Why? Because, wanting to be flamboyant and magnificent in whatever you're doing, Leo must show off somehow. So that's what she did. All right. The 4th example has Aquarius in Lagna with Sun, Venus, and Gulika. So over here, the story is quite even more dramatic. You will see why. So it has Badakesh, Venus. Venus is Badakesh in this chart, being the 9th lord for Aquarius. And it is also combust. And of course, joined by Gulika. Saturn, if you want to take the, going back, because it's retrograde, going back to the 7th house, also aspects, this Aquarius. So contributing to, an even worse situation. Okay, so Saturn and Rahu are in the 8th house in Virgo. So that's never a good combination to have in the chart if you want to have a nice and easy life. But what to do? Retrograde Jupiter also is there. So all this indicates huge, huge debt connected to property. I mean, karmic debt, not necessarily money. their dispositor is Mercury, which is in the 12th house. So Sunil sir is always showing us how to use dispositors and to really put our, the base of our analysis on dispositors, because that always shows the direction, where things are moving, where are things headed to. So dispositor being Mercury in the 12th house. Okay, that's another piece of bad news, and it is also in Parivartan Yoga with Saturn. Mercury is in Capricorn and Saturn is in Virgo. Each one is in each other's sign, so that links, two bad houses, two Trika houses, 8 and 12. So it magnifies the problem in this person's life. Mercury, okay, is with the sixth lord moon, so thus binding, the sixth house, eighth house, and 12th house together in a magnificent yoga of suffering. So that's very, very, very not fun to have. And of course, we have to consider Mars. It is strong, it is in Aquarius. It is in Aquarius, it's in Scorpio own sign in the 10th house, so it has directional strength. But it is also aspected by Saturn retrograde from the 8th house and also by Ketu from the 2nd house. Okay, so 10th house is usually showing somebody powerful, somebody who is in power, and somebody who can make your life hell, because it is Scorpio, and Scorpio only brings havoc and reverse, I mean drama in your life. So, but at least the property Karaka Mars is strong. It is in Scorpio, and that shows that she had her share of inheritance in her youth. So this native got a large inheritance, many pieces of land. When she was very young, her parents passed away too soon, and she inherited all this land. But not many years later, I think it was like less than 10 years, communists came to power and they took all her land away, and she never got it back. Her children had to struggle, with a lot of documents, and many years it took for them to gain the rights on some pieces of her land. But that was actually good enough for the entire family. So, a very heavy karma in this case. Aquarius is in Lagna. I hope Ruchi does not have the same positionings like her. And yeah, a lot of drama happened. Actually, her life was very traumatic and interesting to study in astrology. Okay,
That is
example
not
number
me. She's not
5.
talking about me. My life has not been dramatic.
No.
No, she's
Not
talking about
talking.
that
You have an
native.
amazing
Oh,
life.
someone misunderstands that statement.
No. It was about that native, not you. So example number 5 has Aquarius again in the 5th house. So another Libra Lagna, just like I showed 2 examples back. So Aquarius is over here in the 5th house with Mars. So let's go ahead with the analysis of Mars. So Mars in Aquarius, just like I said before, shows some sins related to property done in the past lives. And in this case, Mars is also getting Saturn's 10th aspect from the 8th house of Taurus. So Mars is in third from the 3rd house. You know that Sunil sir is always urging us to see the chart. We have our chart like it doesn't only belong to us, but to everybody around us. So that's why we use the Bhavat Bhavam concepts and see where planets fall from each and every house and relative in our life. So Mars is also showing some heated discussions with the sibling, of course, because of property. Let's go and see Saturn. Saturn, it is in the 8th house. It is with the 8th lord Venus, and it's also joined by Monday. Of course, Mars is aspecting too. So there's Mars is aspecting Saturn, and Saturn is returning the favor and aspecting Mars. So they're both supporting each other in doing bad things. So again, mistakes from previous life are indicated, but also it shows a good inheritance because the eighth lord is strong here. It shows it late in life because Saturn is there, making things a little bit delayed, but it came. Rahu, let's see Rahu. It is debilitated in not fourth house of property, but in the third house. So it is also what? Oh no, in the third house of sibling, and its dispositor Jupiter is debilitated, and in Papkartari in the house of property, fourth house. So a lot of struggle. The Papkartari actually shows that you're struggling, you cannot make your move left and right. You're forced, to stay in your in your spot, unable to move forward. So he had disagreements with his brother regarding the properties they inherited from their parents, and they're still squabbling about that. What to do, when to sell, if to sell. No, let's keep it. Let's have some fun summertime here. Let's bring our families, but they never do that. One is also living abroad, so that never happens. And the property stays there. It is not occupied, and it is degrading, and so is their inheritance. So, the property itself might be wonderful, all the documents might be gorgeous, up to date, everything, but just one person is sufficient in your life to ruin it all, and so you cannot enjoy it, definitely. All right, another Aquarius in the fifth house. I know a lot of Libra people. This time, friend of ours. Again, fifth house, and let's see, it is aspected by Saturn, again from the eighth house Taurus. So just another example to put things in perspective, kind of the same positionings, but not exactly. Badakesh Sun is aspecting, and Badaka Mars is there too, so making things quite bad. And of course, Mars is the seventh lord of wife, and it is also the lord of Scorpio. It is dispositor of Gulika and Mandi, so it brings a lot of unpleasantness to property-related issues. So let's go and see Saturn now. It is in the eighth house in Taurus. It is aspected by Rahu from the fourth house. Saturn is the fourth lord, so having fourth lord in the eighth house might indicate several things, but it certainly points to some trouble-related inheritance. So past life karma regarding property and debts regarding family, because it's in Taurus. And of course, struggle for money. If you see Aquarius is aspected by Saturn, Mars, and Sun. No benefic aspects to it, nothing to help the situation at all. Rahu is in Capricorn in the fourth house, another affliction. It is opposite 12th Lord Mercury. That's cheating yoga, whenever Rahu and Mercury get together. They're planning a party for you. Mars is a big maraka, for this Libra Lagna. It is in Badakastana, it is combust, and it is aspected by this retrograde Jupiter from the third house, who's a functional malefic, because it owns, for Libra Lagnas, Jupiter owns quite not good houses, the third and the sixth. So it acts like a malefic in some situations. And it is also the third lord of siblings. So again, some karma related to siblings as far as property is concerned. So he married and bought an apartment with his own money. But after 8 years of marriage, they divorced, and his wife took the house. Just like that. She just got the house. And he was left on the streets. He also has a property dispute with his younger brother regarding their parents' property. The brother doesn't want to give him not even permission to live there, not to speak of sharing the money from the sale of the house. So, his karma regarding property is quite bad. He's had so many happenings regarding that. I cannot tell you. Almost every year something is happening about his property, wherever he's sitting, whether it's inherited or not. He's living with rent, so quite bad conditions for him as far as property is concerned. Maybe later in life, some of that karma goes away. Another example, this time Aquarius is in the 9th house. All right, and this man inherited very, very, very large estate from his father. Of course, this man was a king, and Mars is aspecting. Mars is karaka of property. It is aspecting from the 3rd house. Saturn and Rahu are in the 4th house in Virgo. So just like I said some charts back, you remember Saturn Rahu Virgo combination is a very, very, very not nice thing to have in your chart. And they're joined by Badakesh, for dual signs. 7th house becomes the Badaka house, and Jupiter in this case is Badakesh in Virgo, in enemy sign, with Rahu and Saturn and the debilitated Venus. If you see in his chart the degrees of Jupiter and of Venus, they're actually in the same degree, very, very close together, and that shows they're in a Graha Yuddha or a planetary war, as you would say it. And of course, his entire 4th house is in Papkartari from 3rd house Mars and Sun Mercury from the 5th house, because Mercury behaves like a malefic in his chart, although it's a Lagna Lord. Many times being Lagna Lord in such a conjunction shows he takes, makes very bad decisions. So not very good. Mars is in Leo in the 3rd house, at the very, very, very end of, if you see 2954 Leo. So it's not good to have a planet so far away most of the time. It's an old planet. So not very good. Dispositor of it, again, looking at dispositor is Sun. It is debilitated in the 5th house with the Lagna Lord. 4th house, as I said, it's in Papkartari, and dispositor Mercury is retrograde and combust, but in Parivartan Yoga with Venus. So gaining some strength, but actually not good enough to make a difference. So this chart is a former king of Romania, of my country, and he was king in his early life for only 7 years. So the communists came and forced him to abdicate at gunpoint and to leave the country. So he lost an entire country. Okay, so a very, very, very huge property. He never regained the throne again. He made several attempts until recently when he passed away. Even his family tries to gain some recognition but are unable to. All right, so he got an entire country, which at the time was even bigger than today, almost double, from his family, only to lose it all later. So a lot of heavy karma related to property. If you remember in one of the charts I showed before with an Aquarius Lagna, all this combination, the Rahu Saturn from Virgo was here in the 8th house. Showing some heavy karma related to inheritance. Well, in this case, it's it's somehow mirroring that positioning, bringing some malefic energy to the idea of property. I mean, now don't think that he was a poor man because he just forced to abdicate. He left with a lot of money, so you shouldn't worry about his, his fortune. But being a king and not having a country, that's a big, big bad karma.
All right. Thank
And
you
now,
so much, Daniela. Don't have time for this. People have to go to other classes. We're supposed
okay,
to end
myself.
by 8:30. It's already 8:45.
All right. Okay. I'm also going to the next class. I'm waiting people to
Yeah.
come there.
So
To the
we don't have the nakshatra class today.
Oh, we don't?
No, we don't have the nakshatra class today, but people would have class with Vinayak sir, so they would have to leave now.
All
So
right. Okay.
thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank
So
you.
we need to start sharp at 7:30 and we need to finish, sharp by 8:30 or at 5 or 10 minutes before 8:30. So remember that, guys, that we will
Yeah.
have to finish in time. So now,
Thank you.
reiterating Daniela's technique, there are two things to it. One is that, Aquarius Lagna people will have some or the other property issues in life. And the second is that wherever Aquarius sits in your house, in your birth chart, whichever relative is signified by that particular house, that person will also face property issues in life. All right. So these are two things that you can see, and actually you can see this by respectively going to your birth charts and seeing which house Aquarius is in, and if that person is facing issues, and the only thing is you do need to know which relative is signified by which house. And then Aquarius Lagna people will mostly, and I say this because also, they would have some sort of inheritance or property issues. But apart from that, if you see Shri Amitabh Bachchan only, currently his children are facing the property issue because he has given his daughter the property, which is the bigger property. He's given it to his daughter. So a lot of questions have arisen about his son Abhishek, that he is not being fair to him. So this way, if you see that, some or the other property issue, whether it is to them or it is perceived as they are doing to someone, some property issue wherever Aquarius sits will always arise. So mostly, of course, in the Aquarius Lagna. Does anybody? Yes, Aditya, you have a question.
As usual, sorry again to disturb. Yeah.
No, that's
So one question that I have, Daniela, is it possible that if Aquarius is really well placed, then maybe is more into properties, or maybe the person is having any properties, like he's very good at getting properties, having multiple properties, etc. And
Yeah,
this,
so,
sure,
of
sure.
course,
Aquarius must.
that
You
will
speak.
also happen. That Aquarius Lagna will always also have that luck of having multiple properties. Let me also say that.
yeah, and one another thing is, since it is we're talking about inheritance here, so unless and until any eighth lord is involved, do you see any issues within it? Because unless,
Otherwise, also Aquarius Lagna will have inheritance issues.
oh, okay, yeah. Thank you,
Somnath.
Daniela.
Ruchi ma'am.
Hmm.
So for this technique, Aquarius technique, if Aquarius is sitting in any particular house apart from Lagna,
Yeah.
only the relative have property issue, or will the native also have property issue?
So mostly, of course, it is the relative who will have the property issue. But like Daniela showed in the last chart of
Romania,
the king, yeah, I think it was Aquarius was in the fifth house. And so
ninth,
ninth,
maybe
okay.
ninth.
So, of course, Aquarius is in everybody's chart.
Yeah.
There is nobody who does not have Aquarius. But like I said, primarily it will be Aquarius Lagna people who will have property issues because they will have inheritance issues. All right. And
Okay.
also, not only just inheritance issues,
Hmm.
they would otherwise also have property issues. For example, bad tenants they will get, or bad landlords they will get, or in the construction of property, MCD will create problems and those kind of issues will come up. But because everybody's chart has Aquarius in it, so mostly whichever house Aquarius is in, For example, she had Aquarius in the second house in the second example. All right. And that is the house of the family. So the father and the children were having issues, which pretty much means the family only. So you would see that whichever house, whatever relative is signified by the house where Aquarius sits in the birth chart, that person would have some property related struggles or issues. All right, I will only take one more question. After that, we are only allowed to take 3 questions per technique. Next question is by Somnath. Done?
Ma'am, actually, question is done, but I was trying to call the office, but nobody received.
Because today is Sunday and kind of everybody
Okay.
is busy. Please call tomorrow.
Okay,
All
ma'am.
right.
And my classes
Okay.
are starting from tomorrow,
No,
Sunil
they'll
says.
start from next week. Next week.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm going
Okay.
to continue taking your classes this week. Okay. You still have to bear with me. Okay. Next we have Anil Gatani.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Anilji. Come on camera. You know the rule.
Actually, my camera is not working actually
Acha,
today.
chalo. Okay.
Daniela ji, it's a very good presentation basically. Again,
Thank you. Thank you.
can you put the fourth chart, fourth example?
Oh, just a sec. I'll just close this. Fourth chart. All right. Okay. Okay, can you see it? Yes.
Yeah, here. All this also.
Yes,
Yeah. With all the, yeah.
Yeah, I was referring to that chart in the end, if you remember. I was saying that Virgo has all this fun combination, Rahu Saturn in the 8th house. Yeah.
Yeah, what I wanted here was you have written retro Saturn and Rahu are in Virgo 8th house with retro Jupiter, indicating a karmic huge debt connected to
Yes.
property. Why connected to property? Is it because of Saturn? Saturn is
Yeah.
not karaka for property, no?
No. But this is related to the technique. So you can analyze property from various points of view. You don't have to just see the 4th house. So in this case, a very, very valid technique about Aquarius, and because Rahu and Saturn are the lords of Aquarius, and they are placed in the 8th house and in Virgo, that's gonna lead to some trouble, like I showed. So this is a very good chart to show that.
Anil, also because 8th house is the house of inheritance. All right.
Okay.
Anup, we will only be taking, like I said, Anil last. Everybody go watch match after this or go to the respective classes that we have.
That's all.
No more
That's all.
questions.
That's
for
fine. I just wanted to
Thank you.
get this complete example for. My
Yeah.
question was only
All
that.
right. Yeah. So because also the 8th house is the house of inheritance, and you will inherit property, or you will inherit money or whatever, because it is the house of inheritance. That is why 6th house is also it indicates always a huge karmic debt, apart from the fact that 6th house, 6th sign, that is Virgo, is your Naisargic, is your Naisargic Badha house, because is your Naisargic Badhak sign, and 6th house is your Naisargic Badha house. So it will always have that karmic, both Virgo and the 6th house will always have the karmic aspect to it. I hope I answered that. Sabitha, we are not
Thank
taking
you.
any more questions for today. I'm very sorry. We have a time constraint because people have to go to other classes.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
we
Thank you,
will,
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank
okay,
you very
we will
much.
be there tomorrow again. Please be there 5 minutes early so that we can start sharp on time, because as you see, we are unable to take questions if we run over time. And from tomorrow, people will have classes at 8:30. All right. So
And we
people
have the
will have
ultra
to
beginners
be.
class tomorrow at 8:30.
No, we don't.
Okay. Okay, so we're meeting you at 7:30. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Thank you, Anu.
thank you so much, everybody.